Hey there, boys and girls. Another day, another Daily Read Aloud coming at you live, once again, from Miss Lawrence's office. Today, I have another story for you, but like some of my other ones, this one is written by an author that we've already read, which is amazing. Like I said, when you become my age or you get older, you start to develop like interest in the different books that you read, and so one of the things that I really treasure is finding an author that connects with me, somebody that I really love their work, whether it's the pictures or the stories or both, and being able to collect some of their other works. Because I think that's what helps shape us as readers, is being able to pick the different stories that we read, and that makes us more interested in reading, right? We're not going to want to read something that's boring and dull, but if it's exciting and it piques our interest, of course we're going to want to read it more. So that's why I have a lot of the dinosaur books. That's why I have a lot of books about sports, because I like dinosaurs, I like sports. But I also like certain authors. Yesterday I read the Laura Numeroff book, If You Give a Moose a Muffin. And like I said, I own like all of those stories because I love her work. I think she's super clever, and I think the stories themselves are just really wonderful. And so, like I said, I have another one today. It's not another David Shannon book, although I'm sure I have another one of those on my shelves too. But this one is, we've only read one of his books before, and it's by Leone. So we've read, I think it was in Frederick by him, and so I love that story. And I love that he uses mice a lot in his stories too, which is great. But today's story is Alexander and the WindUp Mouse. One of the other reasons I really like Leo Leone is his pictures. I think his pictures are absolutely amazing. They're phenomenal. I mean, you look at them and, you know, they're just so creatively done. They're not like other cartoons and things like that. They're almost like cut and paste. They're very, very unique. So that's one of the reasons I love Leone, and also because his books are just classics, like I said before. They're ones that I grew up with, that my mom remembers when she was little, and so they're fabulous, fabulous stories. And of course, we know when we see that Caldecott medal that it also means that it's an award-winning book, so it's fantastic for other reasons that other people even thought. So always, anytime you see that Caldecott medal, you know you're in for a good read. So always look for it. If you're ever at the bookstore, or even if you're online, they'll always mention if it's a Caldecott winner. So let's get started. I'm so excited to read this story to you. Alexander and the WindUp Mouse by Leone. I mean, look at the beautiful patterns too. Just really well designed and beautiful. I'm excited. Let's see. Who is Alexander? Help! Help! A mouse! There was a scream, then a crash. Cups, saucers, and spoons were flying in all directions. Alexander ran for his hole as fast as his little legs would carry him. That's kind of how Miss Lorenz reacts when she sees mice too, so I feel bad for Alexander, but mice kind of make me a little scared too. One day, when there was no one in the house, Alexander heard a squeak in Annie's room. He sneaked in, and what did he see? Another mouse! But not an ordinary mouse like himself. Instead of legs, it had two little wheels, and on its back there was a key. "Who are you?" said Alexander. So there's the thing he's looking at. We could probably guess that Alexander's a real mouse, and our friend over here is probably a toy mouse, right? You turn the little key on his back, and it makes the wheels move, and it probably scurries across the floor like a real mouse. Probably something, like a toy, or someone might have bought it to play a trick on someone else. But sitting with all the other stuffed animals, so I would think that he's some sort of toy. am Willy the WindUp Mouse, Annie's favorite toy. They wind me to make me run around in circles. They cuddle me, and at night I sleep on a soft white pillow between the doll and a woolly teddy bear. Everyone loves me. They don't care much for me, said Alexander sadly, but he was happy to have found a friend. Let's go to the kitchen and look for some crumbs, he said. Oh, I can't, said Willy. I can only move when they wind me. But I don't mind. Everybody loves me. So Willy, the wind-up mouse, is kind of living the life, right? He's loved by all the family, and he doesn't really have to do much. He just gets to like sit on a nice plushy bed and cuddle with stuffed animals. Whereas Alexander has to hunt for food, and the family that he kind of shares the house with aren't big fans of him because he's a mouse, a real mouse. Alexander, too, came to love Willy. He went to visit him whenever he could. He told him of his adventures with brooms, flying saucers. When they say flying saucers, they mean like saucers that you would put a teacup on, not like a flying saucer in the sky. And mousetraps. Willy talked about the penguin, the woolly bear, and mostly about Annie. The two friends spent many happy hours together. But when he was alone, in the dark of his hideout, Alexander thought of Willy with envy. Ah, he sighed. Why can't I be a wind-up mouse like Willy and be cuddled and loved? Poor Alexander. You can tell he just kind of looks a little bummed out. One day, Willy told a strange story. I've heard, he whispered mysteriously, that in the garden, at the end of the pebble path, close to the blackberry bush, there lives a magic lizard who can change one animal into another. Do you mean, said Alexander, that he could change me into a wind-up mouse like you? Curious. That very afternoon, Alexander went into the garden and ran to the end of the path. Lizard, lizard, he whispered, and suddenly there stood before him, full of colors of flowers and butterflies, a large lizard. Is it true that you could change me into a wind-up mouse? Asked Alexander in a quivering voice. When the moon is round, said the lizard, bring me a purple pebble. I love the colors on the lizard. He definitely looks tie-dye, which I think is super cool. That's what I love about Leone books, is all the different textures and colors that he uses. And it looks like he cut them out of like magazines and newspapers and construction paper. It's just really, really clever. You can make art out of anything, right? For days and days, Alexander searched the garden for a purple pebble. In vain. He found yellow pebbles and blue pebbles and green pebbles, but not one tiny purple pebble. At last, tired and hungry, he returned to the house. In a corner of the pantry, he saw a box full of old toys, and there, between blocks and broken dolls, was Willy. What happened? Asked Alexander, surprised. Willy told him a sad story. It had been Annie's birthday. There had been a party, and everyone had brought a gift. The next day, Willy sighed. Many of the old toys were dumped in this box. We will be thrown away. Alexander was almost in tears. Poor Willy, he thought. But then, suddenly, something caught his eye. Could it really be? Yes, it was. It was a little purple pebble. There it is. Wonder what he's going to do with it now that that Willy is getting thrown in the trash. All excited, he ran to the garden. The precious pebble tight in his arms. There was a full moon. Out of breath, Alexander stopped near the blackberry bush. Lizard, lizard in the bush, he quickly called. The leaves rustled, and there stood the lizard. The moon is round, the pebble found, said the lizard. Who or what do you wish to be? I want to be... Alexander stopped. Then suddenly he said, Lizard, lizard, could you change Willy into a mouse like me? The lizard blinked. There was a blinding light, and then all was quiet. The purple pebble was gone. Check out the leaves on the tree, too, how they have changed. Very cool. Even the lizard, his tie-dye looks a little different. Let's see. Alexander ran back to the house as fast as he could. Maybe this will save Willy from being thrown in the trash. We'll have to see. I hope so. The box was there, but alas, it was empty. Too late, he thought. And with a heavy heart, he went to his hole in the baseboard. His one friend gone. So upsetting. He's probably feeling heartbroken or sad or just a mess. Something squeaked. Cautiously, Alexander moved closer to the hole. That means carefully. There was a mouse inside. Who are you? Said Alexander, a little frightened. My name is Willy, said the mouse. So it must have worked. Willy, cried Alexander. The lizard did it. He hugged Willy, and then they ran to the garden path. And there they danced until dawn. The end. I love that story because I think, especially in this kind of day and age right now that we're living, we can all feel really lonely. So I think it's important to remember that you can find friends just about anywhere. Whether it's in your home, it could be through Zoom or Google Meets, or even just through the phone, you know? So be sure to reach out to those friends, and if you're feeling a little down or lonely, and make sure that they're feeling okay too, because that's important. Like I said throughout the story, the one thing that I absolutely love about Leone books is that he uses all different patterns and colors and shapes and a lot of cutting and pasting, right? It took him a while to make a lot of these stories and make them as beautiful and as creative as he did, right? Even the patterns that he uses, he must use specific kind of scrapbook paper, because look how beautiful all these things turn out. Even though he didn't draw them, he cut them, right? So for your book challenge today, I'm going to ask you to see if you can create some works of art like Leone does. Can you use collage to make your story come to life, right? So that's your challenge. See if you can make a collage, maybe from something in the story, or maybe write your own book and make the pictures with collage, cutting and pasting things from different newspapers and magazines and construction paper and pattern paper, anything you can think of. to bring your story and your pictures to life in a new and creative way, right? We don't see stuff like this quite as much anymore. A lot of it's hand-drawn or even computer done, like done on the computer animated or computer graphics. So let's take a step back and look at how some other authors use collage in their books to bring their stories to life. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. I hope you had a great time reading the story with me today. I know I did with you, and I can't wait to show you another story tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your day, and let's keep reading together. Bye, guys!